Assalamu alaikum students and welcome to the new part of postmodernism which is related to representative or significant authors who contributed a lot to make this movement prominent, impressive and able to be followed. These writers are Donald Barthelme, Jacques Derrida, Terry Eagleton, Michel Foucault, Frederick Jameson, Julia Kristeva, Toni Morrison, Thomas Pynchon, Ishmael Reed and Kurt Vonnegut. The first writer is Donald Barthelme, whose time period is from 1939 to 1989. He is an American short story writer, novelist, editor, teacher, and a journalist. He is famous for his playfulness so far as his writings related to short stories and novels are concerned. He has won many honors and awards like National Book Award, Guggenheim Fellowship, National Institute of Arts and Letters, Zabel Award, Free Short Story Award, and the Texas Institute of Arts and Letters Award. He has been characterized as an avant-garde postmodernist who relies more on language than plot or character. The stress on language made him prominent and innovative among all other postmodernist writers. And he did not follow the old traditions of writing because the old writers all the time took plot and character into consideration as the main parts of writing stories or novels. His famous publications include Come Back, Dr. Caligari, which published in 1964, City Life 1970, 60 Stories 1981, and The King 1990. Jacques Derrida, 1930 to 2004. He is a French philosopher, writer, theorist, and a critic. His work, beginning in the 1960s, affected a profound change in literary criticism, and in 1962, he first outlined the basic ideas that became known as deconstruction. The publication was a lengthy introduction to his 1962 French translation of German philosopher Edmund Husserl's Origin of Geometry. The full strategy of deconstruction is outlined and explained in his different masterwork of grammatology. It was difficult to understand, and afterwards it published in English in 1967, which made it easy and possible for everyone to understand. It revealed the interplay of multiple meanings in the texts of present day culture and also exposed the unspoken assumptions that underlie much of contemporary social thought. Terry Eagleton, born in 1943. His major concern, so far as philosophy and criticism is concerned, is the ideologies found in literature, examining the role of Marxism in discerning these ideologies. His publications, like Myths of Power, a Marxist study of the Brontes, which published in 1975, was one of the prominent publications on his part. Next work is Marxism and Literary Criticism, which published in 1976. It discusses the author as a producer and the relationship between literature and history, form and content. First, relationship between literature and history. Second point is relationship between form and content. And the third is the writer as well as the communist. His next work are Criticism and Ideology, a study in Marxist literary theory which published in 1976. The Gatekeeper, a memoir published in 2001. After Theory, published in 2003, are the most prominent works, and he is a leading advocate of the inclusion of social and historical issues in literary criticism. Michel Foucault, 1926 to 1984. He is a French philosopher as well as a theorist, and he taught philosophy and French literature as well as history of systems of thought at different French universities at different times. His approach was archaeological to dig up scholarly minutiae from the past. Later, he shifted his idea from archaeological to genealogical method that sought to understand how power structures shaped and changed the boundaries of truth. He also wrote about the power, construction of power, and role of state in the lives of common people or common masses. He also gave the idea of panopticon surveillance, as for the state is all the time there to watch all the people. His accomplishment is the understanding of the combination of power and knowledge. The History of Sexuality, which published in 1976, The Use of Pleasure, published in 1985, and The Care of the Self, 1987, are the prominent publications on his part. Frederick Jameson, born in 1934. He taught as at Howard University, the University of California, San Diego, Yale University, and Duke University most of the times. He got different awards like Rotary Fellowship, Woodrow Wilson Fellowship, Fulbright Fellowship, two Guggenheim Fellowships, Humanities Institute Grant, William Riley Parker Prize. He is one of the leading exponents of Marxism in United States of America, as Marxism was not started from here, but he brought the main concept of Marxism in US with the help of his writings as well as his articles. So far as his publications are concerned, we can quote Postmodernism or the Cultural Logic of the Late Capitalism, and it is one of the major and main publications so far as this writer is concerned. The next publication is an article which published in 1983, and its name is Postmodernism and Consumer Society. Julia Kristeva, born in 1941 in Silvan, Bulgaria. She is famous writer, educator, linguist, psychoanalyst, and literary theorist. She has got the award Holberg International Memorial Prize in 2004. The next award is Hannah Arendt Award for Critical Thought in 2006. He is also considered one of the most influential thinkers of modern France, and he bases her work on two components of the linguistic operation. Number one is semiotic, which is expressive objective meaning, and number two is the symbolic, which is the rhythmic and illogical aspects of meaning. And she calls poetic language as the intertwining of these elements, like uh, the symbolic and the semiotic. It is these same tenets that form the basis of postmodern criticism, and she has been embraced by many feminist writers because of her writings on social issues. But her relationship to feminism has been one of ambivalence, just because of her different views. At one time, she was saying something else, and at another time, she was giving some other views. Like internally, the writer is not in favor of feminism, but externally, she is favoring. On the contrary, you may say that. Uh, Internally, the writer is in favor of feminism, but externally she is doubting that particular phenomena. So that's why her writings are considered to be the ambivalent one. Her publications are as Desire in Language, a semiotic approach to literature and art, published in 1969, and New Melodies of the Soul, 1995. It was a collection of essays, and further she wrote a novel which published in 2006, and the name of the novel is Murder in Byzantium. Toni Morrison, born in 1931 and died in 2019. Her real name is Chloe Anthony Wofford. But in literature, she is known as Toni Morrison. She is a famous novelist as well as a playwright, an academic person, an editor, a critic, and a lecturer, and also non-fiction writer at the same time. She got fame on publishing her novel in 1970 for richly expressive style and ear for dialogue. Her dialogues were strong and full of expressions. Sorry. She got different awards. First award, Pulitzer Prize in 1988 for her novel Beloved, which published in 1987, and then the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1993. The Bluest Eye, published in 1969, Sula 1973, Song of Solomon 1977, Tor Baby 1981, Dreaming Emmett 1986, Play. It was a play, and Playing in the Dark, Whiteness and the Literary Imagination in 1992, and the last one is Book of Mean People 2002. All these were her famous publications. And Toni Morrison has also edited or collaborated on several volumes with other authors to make her works more impressive and full of thoughts and depth. Next writer is Thomas Pynchon, who born in 1937. He is a reclusive person, and being an introvert one, he avoids interviews and public appearances. That's why nobody is fully aware about his lodging place. He's an American novelist, and his novels are dense and complex, and this is the main reason of his fame. He also wrote short fiction, and his famous publications are as We, which published in 1963, then Gravity's Rainbow 1973, Mason and Dixon 1997, and Against the Day published in 2006. His writings are most of the time related to the themes about history, mathematics, imperialism, and religion. National Book Award and Pulitzer Award are the two major achievements of this writer. Ishmael Reed, born in 1938, he is an American poet, novelist, songwriter, composer, playwright, editor, and publisher. The major achievement on his part is Pulitzer Prize in Poetry in 1973 for Kanchor, Selected Poems 1963 to 1970. He also wrote some novels, which the famous ones are The Freelance Pallbearers, published in 1967, Yellowback Radio broke down 1969, Mambo Jumbo 1972, The Last Days of Louisiana Red 1974, Flight to Canada 1976, The Terrible Twos 1982, Reckless Eyeballing 1986, The Terrible Trees 1989, Japanese by Spring 1993. He also composed poetry like Catechism of the New America, Hoodoo Church 1970, and Kanchur Selected Poems 1963 to 1970. And the last one, New and Collected Poems 1998. Ishmael Reed's poetry captures the rich texture of the novels in its combinations of street and academic languages, as well as dialects and slangs, meaning colloquial language or everyday language is being adopted by this particular writer. He includes many references to mythologies and to cultures apart from his own culture, and this is a specialty on the part of this writer among all other postmodernists of his age. The last one is Kurt Vonnegut, 1922 to 2007. He is an editor and a teacher, and so far as his honors and achievements are concerned, he wrote novels like The Sirens of Titan, published in 1959, Mother Night, published in 1961, Cat's Cradle, 1963, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, or Pearls Before Swine, 1965, Slaughterhouse Five, or The Children's Crusade, 1969, were the famous, remarkable works on the part of this writer. There are some short stories which are very celebrated ones, like Welcome to the Monkey House 1969, Jailbirds 1979, Timequake 1997. He is also a best essayist and he composed the essay A Man Without a Country, which published in 2007. His writings are filled with biting satire and irony, and this is his remarkable quality. And many of his characters find their way into several of the novels. Frequently, he is there to quote from Bartlett's familiar quotations, and these references and quotations make his works prominent, significant, and individual from other writers. This was all about the representative authors related to postmodernism. Thank you very much for listening.